fine Saturday afternoon?
I am doing pretty good. You know what, Caitie? I'm doing fucking great. This is maybe the best Saturday I've had in I don't know how long.
Did something happen? Is this something, what makes it the best fucking Saturday?
I have coffee again. That's it.
Okay.
That's really it. That's the only difference.
Finally off of your coffee cleanse?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Also, let me just check here. Status update. Let me go ahead and open up, just because I know everyone who follows our Bioware podcast really gives a shit about how much I like Star Citizen. I'm sure no one will be annoyed that I talk about a different game for a few minutes.
How dare you?
I remember there was like multiple comments after the E3 episode, because we spent maybe like 25 minutes talking about the Outer Worlds. And people were just like, "How come you guys led with this?" Like, it was probably the only time someone actually called out the fact that we talked about something other than BioWare, which was totally, for the record, my fault. I was the one who said I wanted to talk about it. No, I was just going to say, status update, Star Citizen version 3.5 is still not out yet, even though they promised it would be out for the weekend.
Oh, that sucks.
Yes, it does.
Well, that's Scam Citizen. So what?
How dare you? How dare you?
I have a bunch of friends that play that game. We call it that all the time.
It honestly, even as someone who likes it, it is really like, you kind of sit there every few minutes and go, is this going to be the most brilliant thing ever? Or is this the biggest hoax ever in the history of video? Because their budget is, they're getting close to being the most expensive video game ever made.
I'm not surprised, honestly. Saying how much like shit they're promising, and then like wasn't like Mark Hamill, or like there's got some like really big names in the.
Oh, they've got they've got Gary Oldman. They've got tons of like star actors. Chris Roberts, who of course did Star Commander back in the day. He's also produced several movies. Like, he kind of moved into, he's written a couple movies, and he was like executive producer on a couple of, so he has Hollywood contacts. I mean, they have a star-studded cast. I don't remember the guy's name. The guy who plays the Onion Knight in Game of Thrones is in it. It's not, is it Ben? No, it's not Ben Mendelsohn. Is it Ben Mendelsohn?
Oh, I don't watch Game of Thrones. I don't know.
No, not from Game of Thrones, but he's another actor who's in it. They have there's a number of different like known actors who are in it, and that's just for Squadron 42, the campaign. But the MMO portion of it is a whole nother deal, which it's promised to be so broad. It's not surprising to me that they've spent this much money on it. But the reason why I have my hopes up for 3.5 is they've added like updated versions of several different ships that I want, et cetera, and so and a whole new planet, which is entirely a city planet. And in the open world system of Star Citizen, like, that's a massive area that is partially procedurally generated, but much of it is handcrafted. People who have had early access to it say it's amazing.
And now you're just waiting for it to release.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, that's looking forward. Let's look into the past, which is oddly a comfortable thing to do. No. I've stolen your thunder.
No, you're right. We want to talk about Dragon Age Origins today. I think we talked enough about like more hard-hitting Anthem sad stuff.
Yes.
So let's do something nice, light, and fluffy today. That's what I wanted to do. So Dragon Age Origins decisions, and just kind of talking over that. I would say that, I guess, as a quick overview, like, I think Origins has the biggest choices, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like a lot of these choices hold more weight than anything else in the Dragon Age series.
They definitely feel more divergent by individual choice, and I think that's, as we've discussed, as many people know, Origins was sort of made, they weren't constrained by the idea of for sure trying to carry forward all of the decisions, right? They were just saying, let's make this one thing, and they had ending slides, which we now know some of those have basically just been retconned. But I think that lends to the fact that the decisions per decision feel like there's more divergence. Like, they can go one way or go a totally different way, which is really cool.
Yeah. I know like, they've gone on the record and say that they kind of shoot themselves in the foot, so specifically with the ending slides. But yeah, it's something. So, what is there a particular decision you want to start out with?
Yes, I actually do have. This is probably the only strong preference I have for one decision that we should go over, because I think maybe it's overlooked. Maybe you would have mentioned it anyway, but it's not necessarily a story decision, but it kind of is. I mean, what's your go-to origin, right? Isn't that the first decision you make in Dragon Age Origins?
Yeah. See, I go always elf mage with like any game I roll, so like that's my go-to.
Yeah.
So I get, and like maybe because it was your first time and all that stuff, but like that's the one I like. I don't know. I kind of like because like all of the other origins have like this big dramatic moment, but like the mage opening just kind of like, hey, your friend's a fucking idiot. Like, do you want to help him be a fucking idiot? No, I don't. Okay, great, then don't.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I totally turned Jowen in the first time and every time since because I don't like that guy. But
yeah.
I liked that about it. And then like you go into this absolutely crazy story. So I thought that worked a lot better than I don't know, kind of the other ones. So I know I'm definitely in the minority here. A lot of people thought the mage opening was boring. Do you agree with that, or what was your favorite?
I don't know that any of them are boring. For some reason, the city elf resonates the least with me. But I don't think that any of them were boring. And I totally feel you on the, like, you just have your favorite, right? Like, that's just your favorite. And mine is human noble. That's just my favorite.
Is that also the first one you played?
It is.
I wonder if everyone loves the first one they played. Or if someone, like, hated the first one and then they rolled another and was like, this is it.
Yeah, that could be it. I mean, I'm sure that has something to do with it. But I also just, like, I like the quintessential nature of the human noble story. It's a pretty classic story setup, and I feel like in a lot of ways Dragon Age, which is, it's not true necessarily of Dragon Age 2, but Dragon Age Origins definitely has sort of a classic story setup. But I acknowledge that is my favorite. I would probably say objectively the Dwarf Noble is the best one. It just feels like it has the most uniqueness in a fantasy setting, and that intrigue aspect of Orzammar is interesting.
See, that one's actually my least favorite.
Oh, you're going against the grain there. People love that one.
I know. I hit my mic. Sorry, everybody. Here's the thing. Like, I actually don't think any of them are bad. I think all of them are really good. And I think it's like, I say it's my least favorite, but I still don't hate it. It's actually it's a good origin. I just like that one the least for some reason. I don't know why. I guess like you in the city elf, like I don't know, it just didn't resonate with me. I didn't like being a princess and then like all that other stuff. I don't know. It just maybe because I was kind of annoyed with Gorham because like I played it twice, once with the female, once with the male. The male was being an asshole, so that was kind of funny. But when I was playing a female, I was like, oh, I'll be in a relationship with Gorham and that'll be fun. And then like you both get kicked out, and then like I don't know, maybe it's been 6 months. He's already married and has a kid on the way. I'm like, wow, you moved on fast. Jesus, man. What was I to you?
This guy's the fucking Jacob of Dragon Age world.
Yeah, he's fucking Jacob. I still think Jacob's worse, but it felt like that. I was like, oh, thanks. I mean, I know I'm in a relationship with Alistair, but hey, fuck off too. Or at least I'm not pregnant, I guess. I don't know. So.
But I agree with you. They're all good. There's none of them that I don't like, but yeah, I just kind of lean towards that favorite personally.
Now, I think the city elf is interesting because that's the only one that's like gendered. Like you get a way different experience if you're playing a male or a female.
Yes. Yeah. In
a way, I kind of wish they were more like that because, like, that's for me, that's just like another level of replayability. Like, oh, what's it like being a male versus a woman? But yeah, having played both, I think the female it makes a lot more sense playing a woman in that opening. Like, it just feels a lot more compelling than playing a guy.
It's a lot more traumatic. I mean, the setup is a lot more traumatic inherently. And then you also sort of run into, I don't know. I think I agree with you. The one that's more sort of emotionally engaging and the one that feels more unique is female. I'm sitting here. There's nothing wrong with the origin. Just for some reason, it didn't click for me.
Yeah. Did you?
I think maybe the trauma of it was so upfront and so quick, I didn't have time to even start to relate to my own character, and I'm just like, whoa, we're in a crazy freaking situation right now.
See, I felt like I was able, like, when playing a guy, I agree with you. But when playing a girl, suddenly you're in a situation of I have to save myself and also my cousin, and like that kind of added this, like I don't know how to describe it, like a kind of attachment to the character. Like, you know, she's a scrappy go-getter. She's gonna fucking fight her way out of this terrible situation and save everyone she can. That was a little bit more of like a I don't know, character development moment where you're playing a guy, you're like, well, I have to save my cousin and I guess my bride to be. No, does she get slain at the beginning or does she get slain? It's been a while since I played a guy.
Same. Yeah, no, it's been a while since I played that Origin. I don't recall exactly.
I don't know. I don't remember if you save her or not. And I don't know. Whatever happens to the bride. The male equivalent, he just gets fucking cut down at the wedding, so who cared about him?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so there we are on Origins. Should we go in order, like chronologically through the prologue, etc., or we can't even go strictly chronologically because you can kind of choose?
Well, we can kind of mostly go chronological. Let's see. There really isn't like that much of huge major decisions until you get into the individual storylines of like the dwarves, the elves, the urn, and whatnot. So I guess we just kind of go, well, here's a random question. Like, what order do you prefer to do the quests in? Because, like, I have an order I like to do, but do you like going out of order? Do you always stick with the same one? What do you do?
I honestly do not have a strong preference for the order, which is weird, because if it's, like, Mass Effect or going back to KOTOR, I always did. Like, I felt like there was a logical way to do that. Mm-hmm. I don't feel nearly as strong about Origins as far as the order, to be honest. Why? What is your? I'm curious now. What order do you go and why?
I guess it kind of depends. Well, at first, it kind of depends what I want to do with Connor, which we'll get to that in a bit. But generally, if I want to like save both Isolde and Connor, I'll do the mages first. Also, if I'm playing a mage, I'll do the mages first because like you hear rumors of your home being attacked, you want to go there first. But then it's like after that, straight to Redcliffe, and then I usually do the urn after that, and then we go to the elves, and then Orzammar. That's kind of what I do.
I will say that, like, going to Redcliffe, the first time I played, I had the experience of going to Redcliffe and then not having been to the circle yet. Mm-hmm. And so then it becomes apparent, you know, as you're trying to save Connor and Isolde that, you know, it's like, hey, we need a lot of mages. And I'll never forget that feeling of like, well, what if I drop this and then go do that? Can I then come back and save everybody? And of course you can, but like, again, comparing it to KOTOR, prior, that's a really counterintuitive thing. You wouldn't leave the main quest of that planet in KOTOR to go do another one and then come back and finish it. That would be really, you just wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. So for a Bioware game, that was kind of novel at the time, and I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And so I'd probably say I've probably done it intentionally in that order a couple of other times just because I like the idea of that.
Mm-hmm. I kind of wish they had like some sort of like I don't know, penalty for taking too long. Like, it could just be like a throwaway line of like, oh, more people died, or like, you know, something in the city. Or like, even if you did try to save the city beforehand because you took too long, they all died for whatever reason. Like, rather than it just kind of being a hand wavy, like, oh, it probably took you weeks to get there, but we'll be fine.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess going on with that quest line, what I like, who doesn't try to save both? Here's the thing, like, who honestly doesn't try to save both? Anybody?
I think that's the primary thing, right? That's what I did the first time. That's what I would consider to be the best one. But you know, you get to punch Isolde. You get to do a lot of cool stuff in that if you play around with the options. It
has a lot of fun options, but like I don't like I don't get the reasoning of like, oh, this is my canon. I'm gonna make Isolde pay for her crimes. I guess that's one way to view it. But like, who honestly possesses Connor? Like, I guess I just don't see the thought process behind some of them. Like, to me, it's so clearly save both of them with the mages. You know,
right? I agree.
Which I guess, depending on your choices of the tower, you probably couldn't do. Could you? I never actually tried that. Can you do it if you kill all the mages inside with the Templars?
No, right? I mean, I would assume not.
I'm gonna quickly Google that. But yeah, I don't remember. I have to try that one day. Yeah, it's impossible if you already sided with the Templars. So, okay, so I guess, like, the only reason to... But then again, who actually sides with the Templars? I don't know.
Well, we know what LeBron James Warden is going to be doing in our Dragon Age Origins live stream playthrough.
Oh, God.
Codex added, everyone, our fucked up modded Dragon Age playthroughs if you don't listen to them, if you don't watch them.
Maybe you shouldn't, I don't know. No, okay. But... Yeah, I guess Origins also has a lot of, like, very clearly good and very clearly evil choices, and there's not that many, like, kind of weirdly in the middle. Like, it to me, it's very obvious to side with the mages, and then to save both Isolde and Connor, and then to broker peace between the elves and the werewolves. Like, I can't imagine, like, doing... Like, I do other options, but, like, the other ones are so clearly flawed. I don't know why you wouldn't try to aim for that. Those options, you know? Do you feel the same way, or?
What's his name with the elves? I mean, he's pretty much a bastard, right? I mean,
he's a bastard, but, like, doesn't mean his people are.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I definitely agree on the whole idea, and it's more so than with Mass Effect, right? Like, if you make the comparison of, like, the Geth-Quarian truce, again, that's probably the best overall one, but I think you could make a strong case for possibly wiping out the Geth. I know everyone gets mad at me for that, but... I think it's different with Dragon Age. It is very clearly, especially when you talk about elves, werewolves, the truce is obviously the best option. I agree with that. But the other ones are sort of there to sort of explore your evil side, I guess. But I, again, like the truce the most.
Yeah. I think most people do. Like, you very rarely see, like, someone whose canon choice is to kill all the werewolves or even just kill the elves. Like, I feel like people who killed the werewolves, like, weren't really listening and just saw them as monsters. And, like, I guess that's one view. But, like, the people who killed the elves, like, they really must have a vindictive streak. Because, like, I the only reason I can see is that you were just so extremely pissed at Zathrian for lying to you and kind of manipulating to you. Or you just don't like elves for some reason, you know? Like, I don't see any other reason why you would do that. But people do it. But here's the thing. I don't see anyone who would actually actively think that's the good decision, but I'm so glad they have that in there because now there's an interesting choice. And you, like, when you actually go through with it, you kind of feel bad, but it's at the same time really interesting. They're like, oh, I can make a really giant asshole of a warden.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is that I was going to say, well, maybe you side with werewolves because just like, you know, the idea of werewolves fighting Darkspawn is badass, but you can side with both. I mean,
but you don't get werewolves if you side with both because the werewolves get healed.
Oh, that's okay. No, so you're right. Right. So that's the point I was making, right? It's just werewolves fighting Darkspawn. It's fucking badass.
Okay, that's fair. Well, then I can see like why you would do a lot, like going, I guess, quickly zooming over to like who gets the Amble of the Void. If you choose Bronca and don't let her kill herself, you can get Gollum. So yeah, I can see like why someone would want to have like those choices. At the end battle, you're fighting with the werewolves, golems, and mages, Templars, whoever you chose there. So I guess if you're strictly for the aesthetics, which maybe that's what we want to do for our playthrough.
It's basically like a metal warden. Like they just want to be fucking badass and like.
Oh my god, it's like Iron Maiden.
Yeah, they just want to like headbang into the final battle with fucking golems and werewolves.
I mean, you could do it. Like, yeah.
Oh my god, you're right. We are totally planning the playthrough for Dragon Age Origins.
This is just a recorded version of that.
This is just a preview for our fucked up Dragon Age Origins modded playthrough.
Oh, Jesus. Well, here's one that, like, I feel like it doesn't really matter either way. Poisoning the urn or keeping it pure. Because at the big scheme of things, nothing really changes in, like, the world. It's just kind of, like, flavor text. And I can totally see why someone would do poison, because then you don't have to fight the cult. You just kind of can pass them by and go, all right, bye. Like, it's a lot easier. So I can see why people would do that. So I prefer keeping it pure just because, like, I don't want to deal with this strange, crazy cult. Just shut the whole thing down. No thanks. But did you... I'm assuming you also choose to purify the urn.
Yeah, it just seems kind of shitty to not do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the real thing of the urn, one way or another, is like we talk about how nothing around that necessarily matters, but the fact that like Liliana dies / not dies ultimately is kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That whole quest line, I guess it kind of, I don't want to say makes sense completely, but at least they had some sort of interesting end cap, like if Liliana died and they came back in Inquisition with like the Lyrium ghost Liliana.
Yep.
That's at least like interesting. I don't know. It's one of those decisions that is totally a retcon decision, and it's probably never going to come up again. But at least it piqued my interest a little bit, so I'm like not that mad at it.
Yeah.
At the same time, it totally just like threw away the rule book for the world a little bit. Now anyone could come back whenever they want, because why the fuck not? There's no rules anymore. If they dead, they've come back to life. Like Liliana, we can literally cut off her head and she still comes back. So who cares? Who cares anymore?
Yeah, that is, yeah. I think it's one of those ideas that it works well to sort of build out the religious lore of Dragon Age, if Dragon Age Origins is just a standalone thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's sort of, and we've talked about this before, of just like, you know, if the urn is actually able to sort of like heal people and all this other stuff, it's like, then you're trying to explore concepts of the Maker and Andraste later on in the series, and how do you do that without acknowledging the fact that there is this genuinely miraculous artifact? I mean, I guess you could say it's really magic. It's, you know, it could be any number of things, but how do you reckon with who is the Maker? Is the Maker real? Was Andraste really holy or whatever? There's a way to sort of even the skepticism with the faith in the Andrastian religion if you don't have this clearly miraculous figure, which you then also have to explain.
Mm-hmm.
So it works well just in Origins, but for the series, it's like, maybe we should just retcon this thing.
I will say, though, that so in Inquisition, in the final battle with Corypheus, on the floor is like a little medallion or whatever of Mythal, like in the floor of the Temple of Sacred Ashes. And even in Origins, there's a lot of like elven-related artifacts kind of hidden away in some of the nooks. So I feel like there is some intent there that it was related, like even back then. So I don't know. I kind of find that kind of interesting, like relating that to the whole world. But,
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess moving on, that was mostly just the main quests, huh? Like I feel like the most major like decisions are kind of later on in like that last, I don't know, hour of the game or something like that. Like
it's crazy how different things can go in the ending. I think it's to date one of the best. It's one of the reasons why I love the ending of Origin so much. Did we talk about we did kind of talk about Orzammar.
Yeah, I don't know. Just the whole Bronca thing is weird. That's one of those things I kind of want to see what happens if you keep her alive. Because if you keep her alive, she kind of like stops talking to Orzammar and creates like a little fortress of golems, and then that's just all she does. She doesn't talk to Orzammar. She just has a fortress of golems, and she keeps making them. And then people go disappearing in the deep roads because she probably stole them and turned them into golems. So it's it's just one of those things that like that was in the end credit slides, and who knows if that's actually real now because it's the end credit slides, so it could have been erased. I don't know. So I want that to come back. That would be a fun level later on. But then again, like not many people chose Bronca, so who's actually going to play that? So I preferred choosing Caridin though, because the whole, I guess, moral aspect of like, you know, a bunch of people died on this and they were abusing the power. You should get rid of it. Like, all right,
yeah.
Sure, yeah. Why not? I'm assuming you feel the same.
Yeah, pretty much. Did we talk Balin and
oh fuck
and Harriman, like who rules?
That's a really good choice in the game because I feel dirty no matter who I choose.
They both have drawbacks, right?
Yeah, pretty major ones too. So for those who don't like play Origins or don't really remember that well, Balin, if you play the Dwarf Noble Origin, he is your younger brother who essentially betrays you, kills your older brother, and tries to kill you so he can get the throne. And he's kind of a rat bastard like that. But he has a lot of progressive views in Dwarven society. He doesn't really believe in the caste system. He thinks that Orzammar should open up its gates to trade among, around Thedas, and is overall better for the Dwarven economy. On the other hand, Harriman, who's on the other side of the fence, he's a very nice guy. He was a good friend of your father's. He knew your innocence the entire time and tried to fight for it. It just didn't work. And but he has very conservative views and is very strict about the caste system and essentially closes off Orzammar, and Orzammar kind of really stagnates in its trade and doesn't do very well. And there's a lot of, I think, riots. I think there's riots either way, honestly. But yeah, it's and it's a little bit complicated. It's better for Orzammar for Balin to take the throne, but Harriman's the better person. It's this weird. I feel bad putting Balin on the throne, but I do because he's better for Orzammar.
It's interesting, right? It is a great dilemma, and it's a great nuanced choice that, because of its relation to politics and because people nowadays would immediately draw analogs on both sides, right? Every part of the political spectrum draws analogs to everything in entertainment. I don't think BioWare would do something like this. Nowadays? In a current game. No, because I literally don't know that they're composed of writers who would appreciate something this subtle, and I also don't think they could get away with it. I think they would be criticized relentlessly because everything is an analog. Someone's going to think it's a metaphor for U.S. politics. But I really like the dichotomy, right? Balin seems... let me put it this way. When I first played through it, especially because, the first time through I was just playing through as a human noble, I didn't have all of the additional backstory for Balin. Mm-hmm. I always thought he just seemed the best. He just seems like he's not in favor of the caste system as much and wants to, open up Orzammar. That just seems way better. But he's also more personally nefarious. Mm-hmm. And Harriman just seemed narrow-minded and sort of old hat and just I don't fucking like this guy. And then slowly I started to appreciate Harriman a lot more, as far as being I don't know, just maybe more stable, more sort of on the up and up, and then sort of the epilogue slide kind of throws Harriman under the bus, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know, I just kind of slowly went over from Balin to Harriman, and I like the fact that both of them feel like they have drawbacks. There's, like you said, there's not one that feels really good all around, but at the same time, you could make an argument for each. I just think it's a really good, subtle choice that they cause you to make.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, I looked up the writers for that quest line to see if maybe they're still on. They're actually both still on here, and so it was written by two people. That whole quest line was written by two people: Lucas Chris Jansen and Jennifer Hepler.
Oh, okay, wait, is Hepler still with the company?
I thought she wasn't she?
No,
Did
I thought she left in the controversy and everything.
I mean, she wrote for Inquisition, so.
Yeah, I thought that was what caused her to leave.
Oh, really? I thought the controversy was around Origins, not.
Yeah, Jennifer Hepler. She was. I mean, it's a really bad story, right? She was harassed into leaving.
Oh, I thought that happened earlier. I didn't think she left. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, that sucks that she left.
Or did she? Or you're right. Did she come back?
I don't remember. See, I thought the anger was around Origins Dragon Age 2 time, and then that kind of passed by, which this was something I was actually researching after our devs versus community. There's a giant Encyclopedia Dramatica page devoted to her, which is extremely awful.
Yeah, well, it's never good, right?
Yeah, no. I guess I don't know if she's still there or not.
How interesting.
Okay, so let's assume she's not there. But at least the other guy, he wrote Sarah, who I love in Inquisition, but he also wrote Liam in Andromeda. So I don't know, man.
Oh boy.
But yeah, anyway, so I guess half of that team. So maybe there's a chance. But yeah, I also think today's political climate is so, I almost want to say violent nowadays. If If
well,
you
it's
say
literally
you're
violent in some
well,
cases.
that's true, yeah. But like, no matter what side you're on, you're going to get like a lot of negative comments. Like, not even negative comments, but just like harassment. Like, it doesn't even matter who you are, liberal, conservative. Like, you're going to get bombarded by comments saying how wrong you are and how like I don't know, just it's kind of ridiculous in a sense. Like, people are very emotionally charged with politics nowadays. It's
On Twitter, at least, right?
on Twitter, yeah. But like, even in
It's changed in face to face. I'll notice people are a little not way more. You can still do it. You can still have. It's a lot easier to have a disagreement face to face, but people are definitely pushier than they used to be.
oh yeah.
We're all going to turn into Orzammar. Is what's going to happen.
Actually,
it's not far from it, right?
Yeah, like that scene when you walk into Orzammar, it's like the two opposing parties essentially start killing each other. You know?
Yeah, that's
that's what's gonna happen.
Dragon Age Origins predicting the future.
Yeah, Balin versus Harriman. That's the when's the next election? 2020? Is that it? Yeah, it's the
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're coming up to it. We're just in a permanent political season, let's just be honest, right? The midterms barely wrapped up and we're already talking about 2020. Anyway, I want to really sort of nail down on this decision a little bit more because I feel like it's interesting. Balin, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is, according to the ending slides, it really seems like he, like you said, is better for Orzammar. I think that's pretty inarguable.
Yeah.
But he's also kind of a dictator.
A little bit, yeah. He definitely essentially murders Harriman's entire clan. Yeah.
So, I don't know, right? That is a really interesting question. Is like, I don't really think it's a matter of Balin or Harriman. It's a matter of Balin ? Like, it really, to me, it's really not about Harriman. It's about Balin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no, right? Is it worth having broader like economic prosperity and sort of more open travel for Orzammar in order to sort of give a dude way too much power? And also he's doing things that are clearly corrupt. Like, isn't it wrong? And I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like, isn't it wrong that he's in power even if it's good for Orzammar?
I mean, there's also the human element that he's a lot better to the casteless, and they're given like a little bit more opportunities. So like, he's doing a lot of terrible things to get the power, but what's he doing with the power that's technically extremely wrong? Like, he's killing a lot of his enemies, and that's not cool. It really isn't. But the people are doing okay. He's not like invading any countries. You know, it's mostly just the nobles he's hurting, which I don't like. That still sucks. I'm not trying to downplay that, but like, I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's tough.
Not easy.
Yeah. Now, if he like goes like, I don't know, maybe a plot in the later game is that he just goes absolutely off his rocker and tries to invade Ferelden. That's a problem. All right, we can deal with that. But like, he hasn't even threatened anything. He's actually been very friendly and maybe manipulative to all the other countries. Like, it's one of those things, like, I'm not happy with it. But so far, I don't see like the ultimate, this definitely shouldn't happen moment. You know, it's just kind of, I feel dirty. Like, every time I like talk to him, I feel like I need to take a shower. You know, like,
yeah. Okay, so here's where I'll take the opposed, really almost just for the sake of argument. I don't feel too strongly in this. I kind of see where you're coming from, where it's like, if all of those lower caste people, if 1,000 people, if tens of thousands of people have a higher quality of life, maybe they even manage to avoid death and all those other things because this guy has reshaped their system. Is that not a net positive? Totally get that. Mm-hmm. Here's why I will, I guess, reluctantly take the opposed. If the means justify the ends, right? Am I saying that right? Yeah. If the means justify, or sorry, if the ends justify the means,
yeah.
Does that not incentivize people who would not have a net positive believing that they would, and therefore justifying anything that they deem necessary to get the power? Like, in this case, it's a really interesting catch-22 because, at least in the simplified world of an ending slide, Balin's reign is great, right? Mm-hmm. We don't get to hear about any of the drawbacks because it's just condensed down to an ending slide where basically everything seems good. And so the struggle is bad guy does bad things to get power, then does good things. Okay. Never mind how implausible that might be, but let's just say that's what it is, because that's what it is in the ending slide. It's like, okay, that happens to be true for Balin, but if the prevailing thought is that no matter what bad stuff you do, including assassinating all your political rivals, it's worth it if you end up doing good things. What about the people who aren't really going to do good things but think that they will?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's more what if world. That's not like canon or anything, but that's just me thinking of it conceptually.
Question: would that describe Corypheus? He's trying to do good for Tevinter, sort of. Maybe not. Oh no, Meredith would probably be a better likening. Meredith. She generally thinks mages are evil,
Yeah, or Meryl in a sense. Like she's delving into blood magic because she thinks it can be useful or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's where they wanted to take Meryl, but I almost feel like it didn't work too well, which that's a whole Dragon Age 2 thing. But,
yeah, Meredith though is a pretty good example. Yeah, like something like that. That's a good way to tie it back into actual Dragon Age story. Mm-hmm. Something like that, right? Like Meredith thinking that this isn't good, but it's ultimately better for. Or another Dragon Age 2 reference is, and way more extreme, is Anders. Right? Like Anders does something terrible, but in his mind, it's not that he doesn't think it's totally terrible. He just thinks that this will lead to mages being free, and if every single mage is free, then then the ends justify the means, but he's wrong. So,
well, here's the thing, though, and I don't agree with Anders at all. Depending on your choices, it kind of works.
Anders doesn't look. That's a problem, right? It's a problem. So this is the overall idea that I'm talking about, right? Like, that's a scary fucking idea. Mm-hmm. Anywhere, right? Like, what if doing bad things sometimes has some sort of net positive, right? Why, as a moral question, why should we not sort of just make that calculation and realize like, oh, okay, this person, did something wrong, but the net positive was overall good. And again, the idea that I'm putting forth is if we allow ourselves to think that way, then like, how does it not, since you can't see into the future, how does it not justify every terrible thing that's motivated by an intent to do good? We don't know that it's going to have a net positive good until afterwards. So it would basically just be chaos.
I don't know why it's reminding me of this, because it's not quite the exact same thing, but Solas's entire storyline kind of seems sort of based on this. You know what I mean? Like, the little we know of it. Like, he tried to do good things, and it just kind of seemed to come out of control. Like, he started a rebellion of the slaves, and it kind of turned into like this weird organization or something like that. And then the Veil happened, or we don't even quite know. And now like the world is destroyed and his people are gone. It kind of sounds like he had a good idea, but then started doing bad things to get that idea. And then just everything exploded, and we have the world today. So I wonder if this is actually an overall theme of the series.
I was literally right about that, and it absolutely is. What about Flemeth? What about Morrigan? What about Loghain?
Yeah, okay, shit. We're stupid. This is just a theme of the series.
Well, no, we're not stupid. We're brilliant. Like, I mean, because honestly, like, that is exactly a theme of this. It might be the theme of the series now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can kind of like everywhere in the game. Well, hold on. Oh, no, I guess not. I was like, is this just a theme in video games? Because I'm granted, not that well versed in other video games. But no, there's definitely more black and whiteness.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely talking about a trope in storytelling, right? You could identify this trope throughout who knows how many different stories, but not every series plays so strongly on this, I don't think. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, in some sense, we're just talking about villainy in general, right? What does every bad guy do? Well, a good bad guy thinks that they're a good guy. Okay, of course. You could identify this theme over and over and over again in a bunch of different stories. It's not that unique. But the fact that Dragon Age employs it subtly enough that you don't necessarily notice it on the surface, but it is there, and then you also give the player some agency in sort of choosing who they support or who they don't. Mm-hmm. That's pretty fucking neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, also some examples are better than others. You know, some are more subtle than others. Saren in Mass Effect sort of believes that he's doing something, but his it's not as, how do I put this? It's not really as much of a conundrum with Saren, especially if you know Saren's backstory. Like if you read the novels, Saren's a bastard. I mean, there is some part of him that wants order and justice because he was a Spectre, but he was always a quote unquote bad cop. He always liked the power. He's sadistic. He likes hurting people. He's always crazy. And also by the time he's making those arguments on Vermeer to Shepard about how like, no, you don't understand. This is the only way we can survive is to work with the Reapers, blah, blah, blah. He's already being indoctrinated. So it's not quite the same as like, say, someone like Logain who is a patriot in a weird way, right? Like he loves his country and he feels like it's going in the wrong direction and it can't be ruled by Merrick's son, and it's just going to be, the kingdom's going to be weaker, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't like wardens. There's some actual complexity there. The elusive man in Mass Effect, yes, again, towards the end, it's sort of a, well, isn't this the only way for us to survive? But it's not really that. It's more, it's human supremacy. Like he's just kind of an asshole. He's power hungry also. It's not really as complex or as nuanced. Those are more sort of like, it's more of a raw pursuit for power in the Mass Effect villainy. So, and in that way, I would say Dragon Age is a bit more unique. But yeah, I think it's definitely a pattern.
Well, I want to see what they do with it. I'm still thinking we're going to have some sort of choice with the Archon in Dragon Age 4. That's my hope. We get to choose the next Archon. Because so far we've chosen a ruler in like almost every game, so why not?
Yeah. Well, no, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I side again against Balin, but it's oddly reluctantly. You know what I mean? Like he's clearly a bad dude. I wish I could just say like slam dunk. There's no way I'd ever support that guy, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't think that I could see the angle for it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of rulers, what do you choose for Eldon, the landsmeet?
I mean, again, as someone who likes human noble, there's always just the temptation to be like me, even though it's not really you. Like I'm the king now, and it's like it's actually Prince Consort. Shut up, I'm the king. It's like nobody knows what that shit is, Prince Consort. I'm the king, and then you have to accept the fact that you're not really king. Yeah. So I don't know. Like in some sense, I kind of like the first time I figured out you could do that, which was not even on my first playthrough. Well, I was like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna be the king, and it's like Prince Consort. What is this shit? So I get to go to parties. Like I have a funny hat. Like get out of here. So that's not nearly as cool as it sounds when you first
admittedly
hear about it.
when I chose that for my first playthrough of a human noble, I then did the Prince Consort, and then I was like, oh, you're not king, you're Prince Consort, and then during Witch Hunt, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not even king. Come on, Morrigan, let's get out of here. Let's blow this popsicle stand.
That is such a great reaction.
Yeah, I was debating like maybe I should stay with Honora. That'd be kind of like, he's the king and everything. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go.
Look at Honora. She's so boring. She's a Barbie doll. Look at Morrigan. She's way more exciting. Come on.
God. She wears a bikini all the time.
Yeah, come on.
Look at that body. She just had a baby. Fuck yeah.
She's doing Pilates. Come on.
God, that's the woman I want to be when I have a kid. If I could have Morrigan's body after like post-child, I would be a very happy lady.
All you have to do is just be a witch lady swamp daughter and do evil sacrifices, and you too can have...
God, why wasn't my mom a witch of the wilds? God.
Come on, Mom.
Oh God.
So yeah, I that is the one where I'm just kind of like, it sounds better than you know the one that's really good, and I figure you must love this as the Alistair romancing elf is being queen is way better, right?
Well, yeah, but I can't be queen as an elf.
Right. But no. I mean, just like that's true but even that I feel like is somehow better in a way. I just feel like, at least your dude is actually king, right? Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like that one's better overall.
A little bit, yeah.
But also getting to be queen is probably the best one as far as like actual power or royalty or whatever.
Well, there's also the side element is that like which you can do it if you're not in a relationship with Alistair, but I have never seen anyone choose that option without being in a relationship with Alistair. You know what I mean? So like, right. Yeah, but whereas if you're the prince consort, like you don't fucking know who Honora is. You probably even hate her. Who knows? But it's definitely more of a political play.
Right.
Whereas the female version, it is usually for love. Not always, but
yes.
It can be.
No, yeah, the Honora thing is more just like, it's a power thing. Also, which by the way, we skipped over another one, but on the aspect of Alistair being hardened or not, because that's a choice. Yeah. It's kind of a choice you don't realize you're making at the time, but for everyone who replays, you kind of understand the significance. But that's sticking with Honora real quick. It's like Honora is sort of political, but it's also like if you're a human noble male and you happen to not have a hardened Alistair, I don't know. I kind of feel like sometimes it's a better choice than making him do it. You get to have some control over Honora with yourself because you're more prepared to do it, and Alistair's not. Okay, wait, so what about let's I guess before we go back to Alistair being hardened or not, what are your thoughts? Anything else on like who rules? What's your favorite overall?
So I feel conflicted because I do honestly think Honora is the better ruler because she's much even when Alistair is hardened, she's much more competent at her job. That being said, as at least the putting my emotions more forward into actual logical decision, which is a very flawed thing to do, and why wardens shouldn't be deciding major decisions for Ferelden. I like having Alistair as the king because it's like, that's continuing on the legend. It's good for morale. He's like a generally good person. I trust him to do good, but he still kind of like sucks at the whole diplomacy thing, So I guess I just prefer that. I honestly do. Not even marrying Honora. I don't like Honora. She can get out of here. But that's kind of unfair. I don't mind Honora that much. But like, yeah, I much prefer the option of Warden as the mistress and Alistair as the sole king, usually hardened, so that way he can deal with the big decisions. That's kind of what I like to do, and like it feels right for my world state. But this is one of those choices where like, I think that really all of them have their good drawbacks, and there's really not one that I think is really right. There's one that I have an emotional attachment to because it just fit better with my story.
Is Honora and Alistair the best one? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying this is an assertion, but like, don't they balance each other out a little bit?
I do. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they do balance each other. But at the same time, it's like,
they don't want to be married to each other. There's that.
Yeah, so it kind of and like it's a weird rationale because you get Alistair married to Honora so that she can have a child, except that Kaelin wanted to divorce Honora because it's probably Honora who is barren, and Alistair is definitely barren. So I don't know why that reasoning's even in the game. Like, so we can have children. You can't. You can't have kids. Even if Honora wasn't barren, Alistair is. So it doesn't make sense in that regard. Now, just as to get Honora's diplomacy and Alistair's morale for the people, that's probably honestly the best decision. But at the same time, like that relationship can't be healthy. And like me thinking about the characters and the people, I feel bad doing that to Alistair. He is such a romantic at heart, and like he really on it. Like even if you don't romance him, he's a very innocent guy. He's very romantic. Like when you read about his father is very romantic, and like when you read about Alistair kind of going on, that's like he wants to find that true love sort of thing. And then Nora is not it. It never will be. So I don't know. I feel bad, putting a good friend of yours or whatever in like a terrible relationship for the better of the country sucks.
So. Yeah, no, it's tough. So this is another thing. I feel like we've talked about this before. Wardens being sterile, are they, or is it presumed that they are?
They are.
No one's ever had. No, Warden's never.
Well,
given
Fiona,
birth.
But there's some weird Theron dragon blood thing that's probably going on there. That's a whole other. I think that's a.
So then, is Alistair sterile?
Probably. That's something we don't know.
We don't. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't
know.
But couldn't we speculate if he's
but like it's been almost 10 years and there's yet to be an heir to the throne if he's with an Nora, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if he's
Right,
not, they're either in a sexist relationship or
they really don't like each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, well, either way, I agree. The weird thing about that is they definitely don't want to be in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like they really don't want to rule together either. I kind of feel like the way they appear in later games, it's sort of like they came to sort of an understanding eventually, like in 2 and Inquisition.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I kind of lean towards that as the purely pragmatic thing, but it's also kind of icky.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's my character, I'll marry a Nora without wanting to, but it's just like, whatever, I can buck up and bear it.
Mm-hmm.
Alistair with a side piece, with a mistress, does that make it better?
Maybe. Here's the thing, though. When I was doing, because like that's kind of what I do for my world state, and like, so I will be completely honest with this. The first time I played Origins, and I guess ever since, like Alistair reminds me a lot of my husband Michael. Like not in like how innocent Alistair is, because Michael's not, but like just the goofiness and whatever. So like when I got to that decision, I just couldn't bring myself to marry, quote unquote, the guy that reminds me of my husband to another woman. That felt so wrong to me. I cannot even describe how, like, maybe we don't even have time to get into this, but like the Morrigan choice, like I wanted the both of them to survive, my Ward and Alistair, and then to do that, he had to sleep with Morrigan. I can't even describe how pissed I was at that choice. Because in like this, my mind had somehow connected Alistair with Michael, and it was like this weird like thing, and I'm fighting myself like, this is such a strange emotional reaction I'm having, but I can't not feel it.
You were just on an emotional roller coaster in the end of Dragon Age Origins.
I really was. I remember so vividly, like I after doing the decision of doing it and like watching that, you have to watch them have sex, by the way. Fuck you for doing that. And like I'm doing dishes, I'm just very angry about it. So I'm like, am I only doing dishes? And Michael's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just mad.
I had to force you to have sex with an evil witch.
Yeah, that was
Poor Mike.
I remember like telling Michael like the scenario, like, what would you choose? He's like, I don't know, it's a video game. I'm like, let me have my feelings.
Poor Michael's just like, wait, I had sex with an evil witch. Did I just forget? When did this happen?
I want to say he said something like, oh, so you.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, but yeah, no, that, so I feel like my decisions for Dragon Age Origins are weirdly emotionally charged, so I feel like I can't give like a really good back away from the situation, because that just, like, it felt right to me at the time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, well,
Dragon Age Origins was a bit of a roller coaster.
Well, I kind of feel like we're on that already because we're talking about it. So, I mean, Dark Ritual, Morrigan. I mean, is that another one where
I do it because you know you want to stay alive. I will say I was honestly so set on stabbing Morrigan. I was so set on stabbing Morrigan at the end of Witch Hunt, and then she had that discussion, and like all of my anger just drained away. And, like, I let her go. And that was another really emotional moment. Because, like, I was so set on, like, trying to kill her. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, look, I you're my friend. And that's the best way I thought I could do it. And, like, I'm sorry if I hurt you. But I was really just trying to save you. Why are you mad at me? And I'm like, that's a really good point. Why am I mad at you? Fuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really like the end of Witch Hunt for that, because it really just, like, everything I was feeling, and then it did make sense. Why she didn't betray me. Morrigan doesn't really betray you. Maybe she keeps the truth from you. That's fair.
Yeah.
But she didn't really betray you. You made that choice. She just offered it to you. Okay, that's fair. You're right. I don't know why I'm angry. I'm being a bit silly. You did sleep with my boyfriend. I have feelings about that. But I let you do it, so it's not like you did it behind my back. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I do it, but I don't like it, but I do it, you know?
Yeah. I think in most instances I do end up doing it, but I can't feel like I can't escape the feeling that that's more based on, I don't know, just wanting like knowing how it turns out, basically. Like, Kieran's not that bad. He's kind of like a cool little evil god baby. Not evil, like, old
Chill.
god baby.
Yeah.
He's cool. He seems sort of like enlightened, and he's like a zen little kid. Once you know how it turns out, then on replays, it's like, yeah, right, whatever. Dark ritual. It sounds worse than it is.
I completely agree. I knew of Kieran when I made that choice, so I like all of my emotional charge was really just about the sleeping part. It wasn't about Kieran. I feel like I might have not even done it had I not known about Kieran. Because
right.
I like.
Well, think about how you feel about the well.
Yeah. So and then now there's this poor child with a demon god. What the fuck are you on about? Oh, he's not going to be evil. How do you know that? How do you know that? We don't know what we're dealing with. Like that's how I would have felt. So like I totally get. Like I think people who like maybe played it without either knowing or played it before Inquisition even came out, like there's a whole other element to this that like totally passed me by because I knew what was going to happen. So.
Yeah, very well put, because that's exactly what it is, right? On my first playthrough ever, I was like, I was torn. I was very torn because I did not want my character to die. And I was just like, this is severely fucked up, but I'm just like, no, right? Like, no, I'm not going to do this. And so my first warden died, killing the archdemon. I'm like, fuck it. I guess I'm dying. I guess it's time to be a hero. And I kind of liked the idea that your main character could die. And then when Awakening came out, I'm like, what's going to happen? Is he going to come back? It's like, oh no, you just create another character. I thought that was so cool the first time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, it felt too manipulative. I totally get your point about, retrospectively you look back and she's like, look, she didn't make you do anything. But when someone says, hey, you're going to die unless you essentially do this, it's like, you're not making me. Ultimately, I chose not to do it, and so that was my choice. But it's just like, it's a super shady thing to pull on somebody at the last moment. Especially feeling like, oh, this is why you were here all along, kind of.
Like, but it's shady, but like, I totally get her point of view. Like, her weird manipulative mother, who like she definitely does not like and probably try to have you kill, put her into this position, and now she's just making the best of it.
I agree with that too. So
at the end, I really like Morrigan. I like her character development. I love her character development with Kieran's there. I think she just changes her into like a much better character. Morrigan should be a mother. I think it's so much better for the story if Morrigan's a mother. So that's, I guess, one of the reasons I really, at least for my main playthrough, I have the kid.
Yes.
I just love Morrigan's character development.
I 10,000% agree with you on that aspect of it. She's a great character. Like, whenever I talk about characters that I don't know if I like, quote unquote, personally, I just want to be clear. I think those are phenomenal characters, right? Like, Anders is like, oh, you motherfucker. Like, you blew up the Chantry. Like, but I'm like, oh, but that's such a great character, right? Like, that's why, in a lot of ways, that's why I like Blackwall, because like my heart sinks into my stomach when you find out who he really is and what Rainier did. But it's like, oh, but what a phenomenal turn for a character, right? Like, especially if I start off, it's even one of the reasons why I kind of like Owen and Anthem. Like, the quality of it's not as good.
Oh, I know. I kind of feel the same way.
but it's like Owen was likable, and then I like highly likable, and then I don't like the quality of how they turned him, or the timing, or just it felt kind of all. We've already talked at length about why Anthem doesn't do it for us, but conceptually, I like when they do that shit.
Yeah, I will say, like, I really wasn't into Owen, but then when he came back, suddenly it was like, oh shit, I'm starting to like it. This is manipulative. Bioware, goddammit, you got my number. Oh god. 100%.
And
I'm weirdly invested in that. That's like the one thing I'm like weirdly invested to in this story, is just seeing what happens to Owen. Like, I didn't even like him beforehand, but when he came back, it was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
How dare you?
So
I was so ready to write you off, you bastard.
It's gonna be like your moment with Morrigan at the mirror.
It kind of was. It was kind of like that, except that Morrigan's was so much better.
So much better, yeah. But no, I agree. Morrigan is, she just gets better, right? Like, especially in Witch Hunt. And then I 100% agree with you. When you see Morrigan as a mother, it's like, oh, her character is so much better this way, especially given her history with her mother, and just like, it just works. It just works 100%. So yeah, my canon playthrough of the series is absolutely to do the dark ritual, and then she has a kid. But first playthrough, I was like, yeah, no way, you manipulative witchy swamp witch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're kind of running out of time, but I feel like there's more to talk about, so this might be a part 2 later on. But,
yeah, I think that's probably, we could probably, because Origins is pretty meaty with stuff like this.
And we could also go over Witch Hunt endings and Awakening, which I to this day still have no idea what to do with the Architect, but that's another story.
Oh, you're right. We are going to have to do a part 2.
Yeah, because I would love to talk out the Architect decision, because that's also something that's coming up in my canon playthrough, and I still don't know what to do, because I can never decide. Anyway, but, yeah, I guess, this feels like an awkward closing. I feel like we should have a proper goodbye, but I don't know what else to say.
Heretofore with we shall end this episode of, I don't know how to do a proper ending. How does that work?
Oh, you were doing so well. You were doing so well.
This is the end of the podcast now. Both of us are awkward, and it's over.
They're after all.
No. How do we...
No, we have to end it here. We're committed now.
No. How do we normally do it? Where do the folks find you, Caitie?
All right. I'm on YouTube and Twitter as Ghildirthalen. What about you?
The Exalted March on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, Reddit, and in all places where social media things are found.
All right. Now we can say terrestrial.